Playing the Radical Latino Show.
Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands in the air for New York's very own.
Radical Latino is taking you to another level.
Beats by Nebs.
Yeah! Welcome, my people. Welcome back to another episode of the Radical Latino Show. It's your host, the Radical Latino. Now, I told you guys I'm bringing you guys a lot of episodes this week, and this is exactly what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to go through the comments because I'm trying to wait for the whole week to end, and I'll go through the whole comments of everybody's comments of every episode. All right? Now, this is a very special episode that I got. Is me interviewing Syddin Pretty, and boy, do I tell you, she is very very pretty. For those guys who are wondering, you know, her Instagram is gonna be at the bottom. You know what I'm saying? So go, if you guys want to slide in her DMs and holla, go holla. But the reason why I brought her in is because one of her videos that went super viral, I, you know, got intrigued, and I started to just really listen to her, and I wanted to basically bring her in so I could basically understand her just a little bit more, you know, and also on top of that, so we could cut the narrative about, you know, majority of Latin people being racist and all this other stuff. You know, this is a black woman that most of her interactions and dating experiences were with Latin men, and she pretty much did see some, you know, shady shit here and there, but not the majority of the parts. So that's the main reason why I even brought her in, so we could curve that mentality and we could curve that, you know, that stereotype. You know what I'm saying? Because let's be honest, Latin people do get a bad rap or whatever the case is. So let's be completely honest, that's something that does happen. You know what I'm saying? That's something that does happen. So let's cut the BS. Anyway, this is the interview with me and Syddin Pretty. Remember, everything that she says is, you know, what she thinks or whatever. So don't nobody get mad at me. All right, nobody get mad at me. You know what I'm saying? You know, get mad at her or whatever. But we can have a discussion. You know, let's all have a discussion. That's the whole point why I brought her in. Well, without further ado, here's the interview. I hope you guys enjoy it. Yeah, welcome back, my people, to another episode of the Radical Latino Show. Now, as always, I always bring you guys special guests and very, very, very topical conversations. And as always, this is not any different. So today, I would love to introduce to you and bring you Syddin Pretty. What's going on?
Hey, thank you for having me here.
Yeah, not a problem. You've been somebody that I just ran into, you know, your content. I just ran into your content. So I really wanted to have you on the show to get not only to know you a little bit more, but for us to have these type of conversations, because I've seen the type of conversations that you have on your YouTube channel as very interesting, you know, and it's a very different insight that a lot of people don't usually have, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay. Well, I'm from Las Vegas, and I grew up pretty much in between Vegas and the Metro Atlanta area. I'm a hairstylist, and that's basically what my page was originally for.
Because you said that you started your YouTube channel as a hairstylist, right? What made you get into hairstyling?
You know, I've always been kind of fascinated with hair ever since I was a little girl, and kind of as I was exploring different things, makeup, interior design, hair just seemed to stick and do. It was easy for me. It was kind of like obviously made for me, so I just stuck with it.
Okay.
If that makes sense. It just was the most natural.
Yeah. Was it something hard to get into though?
Not for me, because I'm very let me see. I'm an opportunist.
Yeah.
And
You
I'm
just a
always
shit.
gonna
You're the
be.
shit. That's what it is. You're the shit. That's why it wasn't so hard.
Yeah, I mean, basically, I'm always gonna find. I don't want to say the easy way out, but a lot of people just don't take the time to look. So for me, it wasn't difficult. You know, my high school had a vocational program. There were so many different avenues you can take versus just going and wasting $20,000 at
True.
a big name school.
True,
So
true, true. So let me ask you, because this is something that me and my friends kind of talk about here and there. It's kind of, I don't know, it's a little sexist, but I'm gonna ask you anyway. A lot of, even including me, for some reason I have no idea why, but for some reason I would like a man to cut my hair instead of a woman. Do you agree to that? If you don't, can you give a dude a shape up? Do you know how to do that? Do you know how to fade a dude? Like, do you know how to give haircuts to guys?
guys always ask me that, and the answer is no.
Got
As far as the whole issue of preferring a man, I could understand. But it's at the same time. I mean, if it was my man, I would prefer my man to go to a male barber anyway. So
Yeah. I don't know. That was something that me and my friends talk about, and I was like, wait a minute, is that a little sexist? You know what I mean? Like, I just had to, like, sit back for a little bit. I'm like, is that problematic? I don't know. But so
I don't think so.
yeah, like, so what made you want to start a YouTube channel?
Well, like I said, this is about my third YouTube channel. I started one in 2011, a long time ago. And I actually had a video go viral. I used to be on Tumblr. I used to be really active on Tumblr and kind of like the, I don't know what you would call it, like the hipster kind of sector of Tumblr.
Yeah.
And I basically made a video addressing the way that the people who were Tumblr famous treated their supporters.
Got it.
And somebody sent the video to all the blogs I mentioned. And I woke up and the video had 20,000 views. I had so many hate comments in my Tumblr. And it was funny because I was still in school at the time, and I went to school and all my friends were like, oh my God, I seen your video. So I just feel like I was born to be a talker. And YouTube is just an easy way for me to convey my ideas
Gotcha.
to the public.
It kind of is, because to be honest, like, a lot of people who get me on, they kind of like tell me, hey, you're a YouTuber. I'm like, no, not really. I'm a podcaster. I just use YouTube as a marketing, ploy, just to get my podcast out there. You know what I mean? Yeah. So you said that your channel was mainly about hairstyling, but now is gonna shift into something else. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
So I recently decided, literally before this Corona thing kicked off, it was just intuition, I guess. I decided that I wanted to become more of, just go ahead and become more of a digital nomad and make hair more of my side income, because I just think that's what the future is, being able to be more flexible. And like I said, I randomly did that video and it did very well, but I've noticed it's been a good way to get women to see the other videos I make, because the hair part of YouTube is so saturated that it's like you can get lost real quick. People won't notice you unless you have a certain amount of followers or whatever.
That's true. Does that also include the makeup channels too?
Oh, for sure. Makeup is I actually used to have a makeup channel in 2014, which was kind of before it was crazy like it is now. But the makeup, I personally think the makeup wave has left. And I just feel like if you're not at the forefront and you haven't been for years, you absolutely will not gain visibility. Yeah. And I notice a lot of women who try to do the makeup thing now, they don't start getting visibility until they do commentary or reactions or something. Then people might look at the makeup.
Got it. That's kind of true, because when I see some of the people who starting to do the makeup thing now, it's kind of like you're barely getting a buzz. You know what I mean? if you're not really like the person, like you just said, in the forefront of it, you ain't really gonna go. You know what I'm saying? So like I see what you're talking about.
Exactly. It's saturated, and that's not to discourage anybody from doing it, but that ship has just sailed.
Yeah. So now let me just add this to it so everybody can know why I have you here. You know, the reason why I have her here is because, again, I ran into one of her videos, which I found extremely interesting. Right, one of her videos that actually has 7,000 views and actually is climbing, to be completely honest. Because I shared it a lot. You know, I said because I shared it a lot.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. I found it interesting, so that's why I shared it. I shared it like a good 15 times.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. So you did a video. Titled "Do Mexican/Latin Men Like Black Women?" Now, I have to ask you, what made you want to do a video about that?
So I'm always listening to Latin music. That's just what I do every day. I don't watch TV, but if I do, it's something in Spanish. So one day I was getting ready to film another video, and I was listening to something, I don't know. And I was like, you know what, let me make a video about this. And I didn't expect the video to go anywhere, but the video blew up super quick. Like it got 1,000 views in a week, which for me is crazy. And I think what it was, when I started to look at my analytics, there was another YouTuber who happened to talk about the topic a day before. And I think it was just timing, like literally just divine timing, because I don't even watch her channel like that. So it was kind of something random, and it must have been intuition. I don't know, but
yeah. Well, I ran into your video, not the other person. So shout out to you.
Wow.
Yeah, shout out to you. So with that, I'm gonna just have to ask. I'm not trying to get into your whole business, but have you dated a substantial amount of Latin men?
So this is what I will say. I don't have a super extensive dating history because I've just never been that fanatic about dating and stuff as like some of my friends have. However, the guys I have dated or talked to have been Hispanic, mainly like 99.9%.
Gotcha. Shout out to you, yo. So let me just ask, the 99% of Latin men that you either dated or talked to, are they mainly Mexicans or they're Dominicans, Puerto Ricans?
I made a video about this. It's gonna go up soon. So mostly Mexicans, Salvadorians, and yeah.
Gotcha.
I grew up with a lot of Dominicans
Yeah.
and Puerto Ricans too, because in Metro Atlanta there's a ton of them.
Really?
But Dominicans for me, yeah, it's like a little New York down there. It's really like a mini New York. Dominicans, for me, I just don't prefer Afro Latinos.
Really? Really? Why?
Yeah,
why not?
Because, and I like I said, I made a video about this. The ones I've met, even like the guys I meet from Dominican Republic or Panama, wherever, they just seem to be fixated on hair and skin. And for me, I don't like that. I will say Puerto Ricans, maybe not so much, but I've just noticed that with the darker men.
Yeah, wait, so hair and skin, can you elaborate a little bit more on that? What do you mean?
Good hair. Oh, you're not that dark. You're a good color. Blah blah blah. That
kind of thing. Okay. And to be completely honest, I see exactly what you're talking about. I'm half Dominican and half Ecuadorian. So.
Ooh, Ecuador.
Ecuadorian. Yeah. So.
I actually dated an Ecuadorian guy.
Oh, for real? We're kind of rare to find. You know what I mean? We're kind of rare to find, but we're there. We're there. But I see what you're talking about the whole, oh, you're not so dark. You got good, quote unquote, good hair. You know what I mean? Which is actually, to be honest, is a product of racism that's been carried down. So I see what you're talking about, but other people might see you as either a traitor or some might call you some like a coon. What do you say about people who might think like that?
Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. I still hold on to that, and I don't care. You know, I grew up being bullied a lot. I could honestly care less because I'm a human being first, and you don't own me, and I don't own you.
Yeah. Okay. That's what I'm talking about for all those other haters out there talking about she's a traitor. Yo, chill out. Chill out. But now let me ask, what are did you experience some racism while dating Latin men?
This is what I will say. When I was younger, more from like middle school to high school, I'll just bring up two boyfriends. Um, One of my boyfriends, he was my first boyfriend actually. I think we were in the 8th grade. I remember my cousin was having a party at her house, and I remember his mom dropped him off and he introduced me as his friend. So I was hella pissed.
Damn.
And to me, that was like because how the mom would feel kind of thing. Because my cousin was actually friends with his ex-girlfriend. I knew the ex-girlfriend. And she was, I don't remember where she was from, but she was like really light-skinned with green eyes. She was very fair-skinned, but she was Latina too. So that's one thing I would say. My other boyfriend from when I was in like the 10th grade, he was Puerto Rican and Mexican, but he was really black.
Yeah.
And his mom had a black boyfriend, and his older sister was half black, half Mexican or whatever.
Yeah.
And I remember the sister would make hella comments on the phone like about, it was like a whole thing. I never met the sister in real life, but the sister used to make slick comments even though she was biracial. So, but as far as I've gotten older, no.
Gotcha. Because you do find certain certain old school parents from like who are just immigrants or whatever the case is, and their children are first generation, they're Americanized, and they do bring black women or black men home or whatever. You are gonna I do see some instances where you are gonna see some of those like slide little side eyes like you know what I mean, but again, I just chalk that up to like racism that's been carried down. You understand? So and the thing is, which I tell a lot of my listeners, especially my black listeners, I'm like, listen, if you're dating a Latino, and you hear either any little thing in Spanish that sounds like ocolo, that's kind of like that's like the N word, but a slang Dominican term for the N word. I don't know if there's a slang Mexican term for the N word. There probably is. I don't know.
As far as I don't really be getting into that, to be honest, but I think on the West Coast, I think it might be mayate or something. I don't know. What's the other one? Monkey.
Mayate. Wow. Okay.
What's the one?
I might.
What's the monkey one?
I'm not Mexican, so I wouldn't.
Monkey is.
I wouldn't know. I know mono.
Baboso or something. I don't know. Mono. I don't remember.
Mono is monkey, so that's all I know. But yeah. So what are the? So let me ask you. What is the popular misconception in dating Latin men that you find?
I would say the whole like fetish thing. I think that people fail to realize that men are men all across the board. I think people just like, what am I trying to say? So black American men objectify and fetish black women all the time. Fetishize black women all the time in the music, in real life, etc. Nobody really mentions that. But if somebody, a white guy or a Mexican, anybody else says anything kind of sexual, it's like people automatically assume it's a fetish thing. But I just think a lot of men are like that in general these days, like overly sexual.
Yeah. Okay.
So does that make sense?
It kind of, yeah. I get what you're saying.
So I hear a lot of that, and then another thing I hear is that, oh, they'll mess around with you, but they'll never marry you. But I know a lot of black women who are actually dark skinned that are married to Mexicans here on the West Coast.
Yeah,
I know a lot.
Yeah, I've known some Puerto Ricans, some Dominicans, male and female, who are married to Black Americans. So I know personally. You know what I mean? So that I feel like that stigma goes out the window. But yeah. So what? Why? So let me ask you, what do you think black women don't want to date other cultures? Why do you think that is?
I think black women have been very programmed to be I'm trying to find a politically correct term.
Take your time. It's all right. Or you could just say it. It's up to you.
Black women really, I'm not going to go there because I don't feel like that right now. But black women have, in my opinion, been programmed to be like the warriors of the black community. They fight all the social justice causes. They're loyal no matter what. Even to the point I mentioned in the video, I have an older brother. My older brother's biracial.
Yeah.
And my dad used to tell me all the time I couldn't date white guys. Like if I had posters of the Jonas Brothers, whoever, he would come in and rip them down. So it's kind of like the thing. I feel like black women have been taught no matter what we do is what we do. But you need to stay here so the race doesn't, what do they call it? Go extinct. Yeah. So black people aren't extinct.
Yeah. So do you?
We're supposed to be the breeders or something.
Yeah. So do you think that kind of carries on to, because some people might say, which actually the people that I shared your video with, only one person told me that, is she fetishizing Latin men? And now that you told me how you were brought up, just a small part that you were brought up. Now I'm gonna ask, do you think that might be the reason why you are attracted to Latin men and other men that are non-black? I'm just assuming,
No, I'm attracted to Latin men because, and if we get into it later, we can get into it. I've always grown up with Hispanic people, and black people always outcasted me. So naturally, I kind of just learned more about the culture, etc. My reason for preferring Latin people or Latin men, if you watch my video, any of my videos are never superficial because I rarely consider the superficial aspects. Everything comes down to values and culture. And I'm a feminine woman. Latin men tend to be masculine, and that's just what it is.
Yeah, that is true. We do tend to be masculine. Sometimes some of us go a little bit overboard with that masculinity, but you're right. That is true. But some people might say that, that you're kind of lumping black men into a category that isn't, that isn't upheld by Latin men. So let me just give you an example, because you said about the culture and how you treat women. Do you kind of see black men that they don't have a culture? They treat their women badly, do you think, or no?
They definitely have a culture. It just doesn't align with my personal culture and values.
Oh,
so
got it.
For women who don't want to get married, they're okay rearing children to men who. This is not a stereotype. I can personally look at my family and all the people I know, and it really is that way. And for me, I just personally don't want to be in that position.
Yeah.
And that's not attractive to me.
Got it. And again, this is not all black men, right?
Obviously not, but I think it's a very large amount. And the ones I meet who aren't like that, they prefer white women.
Unfortunately,
so it just kind of is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. Unfortunately, I do see what you're saying, because it's weird because, women like you, and other black men that aren't like that, for some reason never meet up. Why do you think that is?
I think because it actually is a small population of the black community. So unfortunately, it just is what it is. I think we definitely overestimate the amount of quality black men. I'm just gonna keep it real.
Yeah, yeah, okay. Because to be honest, you actually you can also find some attributes of black men, like what you just said, bearing children, I think you just said, just bearing.
Rearing.
Yeah, yeah. Some of those negative attributes from black men and Latin men also. I've known a few actually, because I live in New York, but I don't know about how the West Coast is, but I would assume probably the same thing. But you kind of could see the same negative attributes in black men and also Latin men. Have you seen some of those? Have you experienced that?
Personally, no, but let me think, because I want to be fair. I'm trying to think for real.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I will say is one of my friends, this is a platonic friendship. He's from Honduras, and his dad got a bunch of baby mamas, etc. So it's not, I would never, and I say this in my videos, I'm never going to be the one to say, oh, Latin guys are the final destination. Every Latin man is like this. Like, that's unrealistic.
That's true.
However, it just comes down to the amount of, again, the quality of the men, the number of quality men you come across, kind of thing.
Okay, got it.
Because if we look statistically, black women do outweigh black men, especially when it comes to the whole incarceration thing, the gay thing, because that's a really big issue people don't like to talk about. And then the remaining guys who aren't gay or in jail like to be unfaithful. And then you have that other ones that like to date out. So I think we got to be realistic when it comes to the amount of quality black American men that are available.
Yeah. Well, I haven't seen it through your eyes. You know what I mean? And you're speaking your truth. So I haven't seen it through your eyes. Some of the things I do know what you're talking about, and to me, I kind of chalk it up to like systematic oppression. That's how I chalk it up to. But also we have to be kind of real. We have to also chalk it up to self-responsibility. So I understand what you're coming from. Now let me say that, do you see some similarities in the Latin culture and that is kind of coincides with the black culture?
When I've seen that question, and not just when I've seen that question, but when I had an interview with another girl, I know she mentioned she felt like the cultures were similar. Honestly, so this is what I think. I think when it comes down to American Latinos, like, yes, there are some similarities because we are Americans, but I, at the same time, kind of don't. So I think with anything, we are human beings and we are minorities, so there's going to be things that are similar, but I wouldn't necessarily say, I would never lump everybody into the same category as though we are that similar, no.
Yeah. No, because the reason why I say that is because, if you go to our churches, right? If you go to a black church, there's going to be, a lot of singing, dancing, and somebody just might get the Holy Ghost and do like 37 backflips. You know what I mean? If you go to a Latin church, it's the same thing. It's the same thing, a lot of singing, a lot of dancing, and the same 37 backflips. You know what I mean? The only difference, people might say, oh, well, Latin people really don't wear hats, like that, But I see the same thing there. So that's the reason why I'm like, oh, there might be some similarities in the again with some of the dances, some Latin dances, not even some, I'll probably say majority. I'll probably go on the limb and say majority has African influence into it. You know what I mean? Also, I would say with some of the food, would be the same thing. How Latin people, season their food. It's not bland as hell. Black people do the same thing. So that's why I kind of see like maybe there is a similarity. Do you agree?
No. And the only reason is because, again, everything comes down to like where you live and your personal culture. Because we have like our overarching kind of culture, but then everybody in their household has a different culture. And
Yeah.
I actually went to a Latin church in recent years, maybe like from 2017 to 2019. I just stopped going. And it was mainly Mexicans. There were some Cubans there. However, it was not anything like a black church. But the church they were affiliated with was not like a black church either. So what I'm trying to say is there
Okay.
are conservative Latinos, just like there's black conservatives. Like everything comes down to the people you
Yeah.
deal with, kind
I
of thing.
see. Okay. Let me ask you with that. Let me ask you: were they Catholic?
No,
They,
Christian.
oh, just Christian. They weren't Pentecostal.
Mhm. No, it was non-denominational.
Oh, okay, got it. Okay. Yeah, you might be right because I did see like a different, Catholic and Pentecostal ones, and it was completely different. So I know exactly what you talking about. So before I ask you this next question, let me ask you what is your ethnicity? Are you just Black American?
Yes.
Okay, got it.
Um, so on paper, yes.
Okay, not on paper. What is your ethnicity?
I really just think I'm a global citizen. Not like in a New World Order kind of way,
Yeah.
but I've always just been very myself.
Oh, I was about to say you part of the Illuminati. What's going on?
Mm-mm, mm-mm.
I was like, oh, yo, can you give me an application? No, let me stop. Um, so now let me ask you this question, which kind of ties into this. How did you end up learning Spanish, and why did you want to learn Spanish?
So growing up, and this is just my truth, and I'm the type of person, I don't care who it is, I'm going to always speak my truth.
Yo, speak your truth. This is
Like,
what it is. Speak
I,
your truth.
I
No matter
advocate,
who hates it, speak your truth.
okay. Um, so my channel is very pro-black woman, but I honestly have to say that black women treated me very horribly growing up. That's just my experience, and that's just what it is.
Okay.
So, from the time I was really young, I was always kind of like an outcast in my classes and things like that. And I always hung out with either Asian kids or Hispanic kids, pretty much anybody really. So as I just was developing these friendships with these other kids, for example, I can think about one particular classroom. One of my friends, I think her name was Nelly, she used to love this Mexican soap opera kind of called Rebelde.
Okay.
And
Wait,
I
you
remember we
kind
would
of
watch
wait.
it.
Say Rebelde one more time.
I think it's Rebelde. I don't know.
I don't know. You sounded kind of sexy saying it. Well, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh my God, thank you.
For
So
any guys
yeah,
out
she
there
used.
listening, she has an Instagram. So slide into her D. No, let me stop. Go ahead. Go ahead.
You are so funny. Yeah, so she used to watch it, and she used to have all the stickers, and she got me watching the show, and I remember she used to give me stickers. And from that show, I used to watch like Familia Peluche and La Fea Más Bella, all these shows. And I wouldn't necessarily, I know a lot of people say that they learn Spanish from watching TV. I wouldn't say that I learned it just from watching, but I might ask a question. Like my other friend, his name was Josie. I was like, Josie, what does te amo mean? And he's telling me what it means, and I'm like, oh, okay. How do I say this? And so it just came a thing
Yeah.
of me asking questions. I just kind of naturally learned, and till this day, I learn new words just from knowing other words. And the same thing happens to me now with Portuguese, because I listen to a lot of Brazilian music, and
Yeah.
just from now knowing one word, I'll learn other words, kind of thing. So it's not anything formal, which is why I make a lot of grammatical errors and things like that. But I just kind of learned it off the streets from other people in the music and the media.
You do say you talk really nice Spanish, like when I hear it, and I'm like, oh shit, like her Spanish is pretty fluent. And
Gracias.
yeah, your Spanish is pretty fluent. So I was like, oh shit, shout out to her. I'm thinking like you had took classes or something like that. Yeah. So Before we wrap it up, I just got a few more questions. What's the most interesting thing you found about the Latin culture and Latin men in general?
Most interesting. You know what I would say about Latin people? And you don't have to feel rushed about the interview. I don't want you to feel rushed.
No, we're good. We're good.
I would say the most interesting thing to me about Latin American people is that they are like the most traditional people, but the most futuristic or advanced as well, like progressive at the same time.
Mm.
So what I mean is like even just how they view race or how they made and stuff, it's like kind of like with the thing of they are, what am I trying to say? So like gender roles are very traditional for the most part. Family structure is traditional for the most part, but at the same time, I don't have to. I don't really know. So that's what I would say. I feel like they managed to be very old school, but more progressive than the rest of the world at the same time.
Gotcha. Which is true. You know, parents be kind of low key sexist. You know, the women have to be in the kitchen. You know what I mean? And the men gotta be doing something.
Is that sexist though? Is that sexist or is that wisdom?
In American eyes, that would be like, you know, how everything is right now. Oh my God, that's toxic masculinity. You know, so that's in American eyes that would be viewed as sexist. But me growing up, I thought that shit was normal. You know what I mean? Obviously now, you know, women have more of an opportunity to do what they want. I'm not saying that if I get with someone or I'm dating someone, you have to be in the kitchen. I'm not saying that, but if you're choosing to actually be a stay-at-home mom and stuff, you know, I think there's certain you know, things that has to require that. You know what I mean? But yeah, I do see what you're talking about, and you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. It does come with you know, the Latin culture kind of comes with old school mentality with a hint of some you know, some modernized ideas, you know. Yeah. So now let me ask you. So because some of the men might be wondering, some of the Latin men might be wondering, are you single?
I am. You're
Oh.
single until you're married, so.
Woo! So fellas, so if you're a light skinned you know, Latin guy, you know what I'm saying?
Don't say light skin. Don't say light skin.
No, let me stop.
If you were somebody in general who ain't gonna be over here talking about my hair, and I don't care.
Got it. So let us know, what are some of your pet peeves when you're getting to know somebody you're interested in. What are some of your pet peeves that you don't like these men to do with, you know, with you or with black women? Like, what are some of your pet peeves? You said one, talking about your hair.
Yeah, I would say I'm trying to think. Because I have a lot.
No, go. You could rattle. Listen, women usually have a lot of pet peeves, so you could just bring them all down.
I don't like men that are westernized, like that are very Western.
Okay.
So that would be one thing, like a guy that's overly Americanized. Like,
got it. You have to have,
and that
at
goes
least
for black guys, whoever.
Yeah, you have to have at least some of your own culture with you, right?
I'm not even speaking in terms of culture, but that's another thing. Like, you should be cultured. I will say that. I'm talking about the whole, like, they want to go Dutch with you. They don't think they should open the door. Like, I don't like that. I don't care what other women do.
Okay.
If other women want to be progressive and feminine, that's their thing, but don't bring it over here, because that's a quick way to end up nowhere for me.
Gotcha. I interviewed someone not too long ago, kind of recently, and he also had these point of views, and he said something very interesting, which I'm gonna ask you now. He believes that women should be servants. Do you agree with that?
I guess I would need to know what a servant is, but I am a Christian, and I do believe women are, like, in terms of the structure, I do think that women are I want to say the right word.
The
I do think.
the guide of the family.
Wait, women are?
Well, I always said that women are like the the foundation, and men are the ones who build everything on top, and and steer the family the right way. You know what I'm saying? That's how I see men as their role, and women is the glue to that.
Okay, I get what you're saying. Yeah, I guess what I'm trying to say is I do feel like the man should be the head of the household, but it has to be a decent man.
Gotcha. Because when I interviewed this person, they said women should be servants, meaning that cook and clean, serve the guy, be part of a traditional role. I think where people got a little uneased was with the whole servant part of it, the whole servant word, but pretty much that's how he broke it down. Like, what I say goes, and all this other stuff. Do you agree to those type of that type of ideology?
No, because I feel like everybody should be a servant.
Okay.
Everybody's a servant in some way, and I think that the man should be serving too. Like, you're not just going to dictate a household and nobody has any say. That's very toxic, obviously.
Gotcha.
And
which is true. You're right. It is kind of toxic.
Yeah, so no.
Gotcha. So, if you don't mind me asking, how long have you been single, and what do you look for a potential mate? What do you look for when these Latin guys is trying to slide into your DMs? What do you look for?
Well, I would say I've been minding my business since like 2016.
Minding my business.
And just focusing, And for me, the most important thing is somebody that has the same spiritual beliefs as me, because if that's not it, then we just won't have anything else in common.
Gotcha. So you're really into your religion, correct?
Not religion, because I do feel like, as a lot of people say this, but there is a difference between like a spirituality and a religion. So
yeah.
I don't go to church all the time, and I don't wear a long skirt and all these pray 10 times a day. I don't do that kind of stuff.
Uh-huh.
But I do believe, for me, that the Bible is the inspired word of God. So for me, it what I'm getting out of that kind of has trickled into the other aspects of my life. So if somebody doesn't have that as a foundation, we pretty much won't really get along.
Gotcha.
And when I say get along, I mean in an intimate kind of thing, not like, well, I can't be your friend, but
yeah. Of course. Which I think, to be honest, some women need to have, because some women think that, just because he looks good and he has some money, that's it. That's all. There's no standards. You know what I mean? There's nothing of value, coming into the bringing to the table. So before we wrap it up, what values do you see some of these men that you're interested in should be bringing in?
Like I said, so I guess outside of the morality kind of aspect of it,
Got it.
I'm trying to
how he treats his mother.
Okay, I mean, yeah, like, but that's what I'm trying to say, is like all of that kind of is encompassed in that, if you get what I'm saying.
Gotcha.
Honor your mother and father,
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, I do.
So, yeah, I would say that's pretty much where I stand with that one. Is I feel like if we have the same foundation, then it's almost like you will speak the same language as me, kind of thing.
Got it. Which
I don't know if that makes sense.
No, it makes sense. It does make sense. You guys have to at least, adhere to each other's, morals and, and belief system. So I get it. I definitely get it. So, can you now tell the people where they can find you?
So my YouTube is Syddin Pretty, SYDDIN space PRETTY, and my Instagram is the same.
And that's pretty much it. I don't have any personal. People always ask me, do I have like another Instagram and stuff, but I don't.
Yeah. So any fellas right now of the Latin variety, if you're listening, go to her Instagram. All the links of her YouTube, Instagram will be on the description down below. Syddin Pretty, listen, she by the way, she's a very attractive person. You know, she's a very attractive girl. So, you know, guys, I'm telling you, slide into the DMs, trust me. No, but Syddin Pretty, thank you for coming in. I really appreciate this conversation and this talk, because now I got a better insight on you, and especially on a YouTube channel that I ran into, that I got very, very intrigued on the conversation. And I hope you actually, you know, bring out more conversations of that matter, because I think it's a very interesting insight, you know?
Yeah, I definitely, for whatever reason, like I said, I've kind of been like this my whole life, but I've never seen this many people interested in Latin culture. Like, I've always witnessed people talking so badly and negatively, looking down on, especially Mexicans. I've never seen this many people interested. Even like with Daddy Yankee, Despacito, I didn't know that. I thought Daddy Yankee was a global star, but apparently people didn't know him till that came out. So it's like the world is embracing Latin America, which has been overlooked.
Who's a global star? Who's a Latino? Who's a global star will be probably Pitbull. But Daddy Yankee, no, he came out with Gasolina, and then he was like famous for a while, and then he kind of like fizzled out, you know. But then he came out with, you know, with Despacito, and then from there, you know, kind of blew him up back again, you know.
That just shows you how, for me, Daddy Yankee been relevant. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's why I'm shocked.
Yeah.
That just shows you how, I guess, involved I am, because I literally did not know that.
Yeah. And it's funny, you know. It's funny that you say that, because a lot of people go like, "Wow, I didn't know." Either I didn't know Daddy Yankee's still out here, or who's Daddy Yankee? He's new, and I'm like, "Oh my God, you didn't know who Daddy Yankee is?"
Wow.
You know, but yeah, you're you know, yeah, you're right on that part. But like I said, thank you for coming in. I really appreciate it. And everybody, the link will be down below. And with that being said, I'm gonna catch y'all later. Okay, so that was the interview with Syddin Pretty. Now, she is a YouTube creator, and this, I believe, for what the interview she told me, this is her third YouTube channel. So everything that you want to find out from her is going to be in the link down below. You know, her YouTube channel and her Instagram. Go holla at her. Y'all can have y'all communications and stuff like that. You know, talk to her and all that. She's a really cool, down-to-earth girl. She's open for discussions. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to her, and I really appreciate, you know, that she actually came by and all that. You know what I'm saying? Now, any one of these little light-skinned Latin dudes, if you want to, you know, slide in her DMs, I think that's totally fine. Just just approach her correctly. You know what I'm saying? Just approach her correctly. But anyway, with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the interview. You know, I enjoyed it. You know, I hope you guys enjoyed it. And remember, if you want to support the channel, if you want to do it monetarily, you can hit up my Cash App at $Radical Latino, or go to my website, radicallatino.com. There's a donate button, and you could donate to your boy and support the channel. Also, if you can't donate monetarily, you can also always go to my YouTube channel and go to my YouTube joint, you know, and watch one of the videos, because I'm monetized now. And if you see an ad, skip it, or whatever the case is. That's how you can support. Or go to the podcast and just rate me 5 stars or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So also, you guys can find me on Instagram and Twitter at the same name, radical_Latino_. With that being said, I'm going to catch y'all later. Peace.